workforce transformation, talent acquisition, these things you're talking about, they're not done, to steal a phrase somebody used today, on pen and paper.
Yes.
Like you kind of like need a really strong tech partnership.
Yes.
Do you feel that that's something that you're here to kind of evaluate, like how the market's going, what new things are coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's getting a pulse in terms of what's coming up from a tech perspective. A lot of our vendor partners, they are solving real world problems, and what are the typical use cases these technologies would solve for. So I think it starts with understanding, and I think this is a great opportunity to understand, but then also asking the questions which our clients would come to us and ask.
Yeah.
So really talking through the integration of I would say the strategy to experience and process and technology, because you have to really think through it holistically. As you said, it's not just a pen and paper exercise. You have to execute in real world, and our clients are looking for funding and seeing real impact as they bring these technologies to life. So really thinking through those lenses, asking those questions, and kind of providing a point of view as our clients tackle these bigger questions in their journeys. Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed, I've gone to a few user conferences, and how much innovation happens in partnership with customers. I've seen quite a bit of things that really surprised me, that the platforms provide innovation tools to customers, and then that all kind of goes back and feeds the ecosystem in a way. Is this something that you are noticing as well?
Absolutely. I think there is, and from a tech lens, there is a bigger, I would say, thinking the tech partners are tapping into what's happening in LLMs and what are tech-forward companies doing and bringing that innovation to talent acquisition. But from a client perspective, as you said, they are really thinking through the real application and saying, does this work for us or not? This technology is great, but can we do X, Y, Z with this?
Yeah.
And that's where I would say that that curve of real world problem solving really happens. I'll give you an example. One of our clients was using an AI solution in healthcare and wasn't really working for them. A great solution, but it was a partnership with the vendor where they really tried to understand how specialized is nurse hiring and what the technologies needed to adopt to make it really impactful. And I think that's the power of, I would say, the client and technology partners coming together. Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of messaging from this conference and user conferences that I've been to, that making that problem statement, using tech to directly address a problem, is the kind of clarity that drives success. Otherwise, you're just applying tools,
yes,
trying new things.
Absolutely. And that can be, I think, you come out of a conference and you see a lot of shiny new tools,
yep,
and you feel these are great ideas, but without them bringing to your reality of your organization, the use cases you want to solve, the tech investments you may already have, and what's happening beyond just HR technology to an organizational IT technology. I think that's very important context to then kind of solve for something which will really be impactful. And I think that's the role which I have the pleasure of our team working with our clients to really look through what are the core problem statements. Sometimes the problem statements may have a root cause which is not technology. It may be a process issue, it may be an experience issue, it may be a strategy disconnect, right? So also understanding where do you really solve challenges with technology, where it enables it, or where you really need to go back to your drawing board and really rethink, do we have the right processes in place? Yes.
One of the things, actually, John and I were just talking about this, is how CHROs and people leaders also have a relationship with other folks in the C-suite, and trying to take an idea for HR tech and say, here's how I want to use this in the enterprise, getting everybody on the same page. Sometimes that can be challenging. In your work, do you get a chance to talk to a range of different folks on the team, or is it primarily HR teams?
Yes. I think it depends. It's not the consulting answer. It depends, but it really is based on the nature of the engagement.
Makes sense.
So sometimes it may be a CHRO's mandate where the top 3 things they need to solve for, one of the 3 is talent acquisition, and they're really looking at ways to leapfrog the way they do talent acquisition. We've engaged with business on many times where the business really drives recruiting. I'll give an example of insurance hiring, where one of our clients, the hiring is done by the insurance agents, and they are selling the product, but they're also the hiring managers. In that case, it's a very business-driven conversation. And sometimes it may be the talent acquisition function, and they have a strategy which they want to deploy. So it would be based on the nature of engagement and who are the key stakeholders.
It's a good reminder that every organization is unique.
Yes.
And especially from a tech standpoint, there's so many solutions out here. They're not all going to be for everybody.
Yes.
For those reasons, each situation is unique.
Absolutely.
One of the things that we've heard a lot, I feel like, is that things are changing. Everything's changing. AI is changing everything. What do you see as like a future workforce? Do you think when we're here, 5-10 years from now, this will all be different? Or do you think we're still going to be like, we've got our same problems, that hasn't changed, we've just got more tech to solve it?
Yeah. I think certainly the rate of change in technology is something which is amazing. I would say, when I look back, we've seen the adoption of AI in recruiting, it's been around for 4 or 5 years. Like, how do you better source, better match candidates? How do you better assess candidates? So that's been in place. I think last couple of years, the Gen AI theme really came up, and we saw a lot of progress. And very quickly, we saw how vendors were able to bring that in their products. So that's amazing. And this year, it's about agents in HR. So I would say the rate of change is so high, and I think that will continue to be, because technology is really progressing fast. What really becomes the question is how quickly are our clients or organizations understanding what's out there, taking a lens into what makes sense for them to adopt, and which requires a lot of rethinking of the work itself, also reskilling the employees, and then making sure they are going in the change adoption curve. So I think there's a bit of lag between the two. I would say, like, if next year maybe I'll see something even more and beyond based on the experiences so far. But I would be curious to see how organizations are really taking this opportunity and making it real and stickable for their workforce. Yeah.
As you've been talking to people here, I assume you've got some clients, some vendors, kind of a mix of people. Have there been any surprising conversations that you didn't expect?
I think a lot of very interesting, fascinating conversation. I think everybody is recognizing that technology is here. It is available to us now. I think the question really becomes like, what do we do with it now? There's a lot of, from a client's perspective, a lot of recognition. Are we doing the right thing? As we look at, is it like too much of infusion of technology too fast? Are we ready for it? Are we bringing a more balanced view of being human-centric as we bring in new technology? Also looking at the ethical aspects of not like evaluating the AI aspect holistically so that it's doing the right thing, and then making sure that we are equipping our workforce. So I think there's a lot of like opportunity, but there is also a pragmatic view of how should we holistically think, because we are accountable for an organization to do the right things.